friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing some super simple, quick, and easy Dollar Tree Easter DIYs. All of the DIYs in today's video only take a few minutes to put together, and they only require a few items for each. And if you are new here, I would love to have you join us by subscribing down below. Let's jump right into this first DIY because it only takes a few minutes and it's so simple. We're going to get started with one of these pop-up cakes, and you can find this in the birthday area at Dollar Tree. They're actually really pretty on their own. I did want to open it up on camera just in case you wanted to pick this one up for a birthday celebration. I like to grab these when I see them. They are really nice to put out for a birthday party, but they are also really great to use in DIYs. Just a good pair of scissors, you are able to turn this into a completely different shape. So for my first one here, I wanted to create a bunny rabbit. So I'm going to leave it folded in half, take a pencil, and just start to basically sketch out half of a rabbit. I do want to stick to a pretty simple shape here. That is going to work best. And for the larger portion, that's what I just used for the body of the bunny rabbit. And then the top portion of the cake, that will be the head and the ears. Now there is one step though you do want to do to make sure that this is going to be sturdy for you. I'm going to show that right after we trim these. Now, first, I started off with my fabric shears and I quickly found out those were not going to work, so I did have to switch to my heavy duty scissors. So just make sure you have a good pair of scissors on hand for this. Now, the other step you do want to take is just adding some additional glue for the spine. So you can see here, it's going to just kind of pop open a little bit and it's going to just basically make it fan out. So we want to reinforce the spine here so it's nice and strong. All you have to do is just take your hot glue and just run it right along that line. Just one long line will do. Let that air dry, and then you are ready to open it up to reveal your shape. Now, when you want this to stay open, you do have two different options. You can just hot glue it like I did here, and this is going to make it super sturdy, and it's definitely not going to close at all. But if you want to keep this for future use, if you do want to save it for next year, you can also just keep it open using some paper clips. These actually do come with two paper clips inside of the bag, so you can just use those. I will be using those for the second shape that I'm doing, but you do have some options. Just make sure that you could see the difference between the head and the body of the bunny rabbit. I just took some Dollar Tree ribbon and I decided just to wrap it around and tie it into a bow, just to kind of show you a little bit of difference and add a pop of color. For my second shape, I wanted to do a big Easter egg, and that one is super simple. We're just going to start off with a larger base and then just taper it to the top. You will see when I opened it this time, I saw that I definitely made it way too pointy at the top and it really wasn't looking too much like an egg, which will happen sometimes when you are doing it. And then you can just close it and kind of just adjust it a little bit, trim a little bit off, and then just keep checking to make sure that you have the shape that you want. It's always better to make it a little bit too large, and then you can always take a little bit more away. Now I'm just going to reinforce the spine on this one with some hot glue, let that dry, and then I will be opening it up. And like I mentioned before, for this one I decided just to use the two paper clips that came in the pack to keep it opened. And you do have a little bit of gapping, but as long as you face that to the back, no one's going to notice. And this way it makes it really easy just to flatten and store for next year so you can always use it again. I love how quick and simple this DIY is, and like I said, it only takes minutes to put together. Definitely a really fun one to try out this year. DIY, we're going to be using one of the glass vases from Dollar Tree as well as one of their fuzzy mop heads. So we're just going to take all of the packaging off of the mop head, and then I'm going to grab my hot glue. You want to be pretty generous here, make sure you get the full mop head, and then we're just going to wrap this right around the center of the vase. You can basically just put it all the way to the top or the bottom. I decided just to kind of leave it right in the center. And now we're going to need one of these little felt creatures from Dollar Tree. And basically the idea behind this was I wanted to just use the face of the bunny rabbit. You can just cut out these shapes from felt on your own. You definitely don't need this. This just kind of saves you a little bit of legwork. Everything is already cut out perfectly for you, and it just makes it a lot quicker But if you want to customize it with your own shapes or your own colors, definitely use your own felt and you can cut out any shape you like by hand. Or if you do have a cutting machine, of course you can use that as well. But like I said, this kind of just saves you a little bit of time and it makes it really simple. So I kind of just laid out the face, that way I knew exactly how it was going to look. Then I'm just going to attach the entire face to my fuzzy little rabbit here with some hot glue. Then I decided that I really liked the look of the ears, so we might as well use those as well. So I am just gluing the pink part down, and then I'm going to use my scissors just to trim those ears off so I can add them onto my vase. Nice about this vase is that everything is glued to the outside, so you can still definitely fill the inside glass portion with water and use real flowers if you like. I'm just going to be using some faux flowers that I have. The ones I'm going to be using actually are from Joann Fabrics. And who else is really, really sad to see them go? They're going out of business, and I am going to miss that store so much. You guys have to let me know if you're going to really miss them too, because I feel like I'm the only one. But here is our finished bunny vase. I think he is just so, so cute. From start to finish, this DIY takes about 2 minutes. So I'm going to be starting off with this little tray that I found at Dollar Tree. We're going to be peeling off that sticker on the back. They do have 2 different shapes for this one. They also have a round one that is a little bit richer of a wood color, but this one works perfectly for this DIY. We're also going to be using a pack of the Dollar Tree jute carrots, and they do come with 6. I'm just going to be using 5 for this DIY, and I just started with hot gluing my first one in the center. Then I'm just going to taper 2 off to the side on either side of that center one. Now, just to add a little bit more flair, we're going to grab this ribbon from Dollar Tree because it works perfectly with this DIY. It has these little carrots on it, and I'm just going to make a really simple bow and then hot glue that to the top of my plaque here. And when you are displaying this, I want to show you some different options. So the one that I'm going to be using is this little gold photo frame holder from Dollar Tree. You can usually find this one in the photo frame aisle. They have a smaller one and they also do have a larger one. This is the smaller one here, and it just looks really nice. I think it displays it perfectly, and I like the little pop of gold. And if you do want to adjust it, you can. So you can kind of just pull it very carefully, and it does, bend without too much effort. You don't want to break it, but you can kind of manipulate it a little bit to how you want it to lay. And I just think it looks really nice. But if you do want this to just be self-standing on its own, grab one of these blocks from the Dollar Tree wood area, and you can just hot glue this right to the back, and that way it is self-standing and you don't need anything else to prop it up. So you do have some options there, but like I said, I really do like the pop of gold. I just think it looks really nice. Closer look how this one turned out. I just styled it with this little rustic jumping bunny rabbit that I picked up at Walmart and some books. I think it just looks really cute, and honestly, you can kind of leave this out, I feel, all spring. This next DIY is so simple, but it really gives you a big impact with how large it is. So we're going to get started with these 2 bunny signs from Dollar Tree. As soon as I saw them, I knew I had to do a DIY because they just have the most precious face. And I'm just going to be cutting off that twine up top. We're not going to be hanging these up. We are going to be turning these into a topiary. So we can go ahead and just trim that off. Next, I needed to add something to the base of these so I could stick them into a styrofoam block. I need to basically create my own stake on the bottom, which is really easy to do. All you need for this is some of the wood popsicle sticks from Dollar Tree. So you can usually find them in the crafter square. They come in a nice big pack just like this. These are the larger ones, and I'm just going to be adding 2 to each sign. Using my hot glue for this, and you just want to make sure that you're kind of gluing it in the center. That way you have enough on the sign that it's going to be supported, but you also still have enough to add to the foam block inside of the topiary. Next, you want to pick out some pots from Dollar Tree. I loved these because of that beautiful teal color. This just definitely screams Easter to me whenever I see this color, so I knew it would be perfect for this DIY. And these ones were only $1.25 each. I did also pick up 2 of these foam blocks from the Crafter Square Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to be adding a generous amount of hot glue. Again, you really want to be generous here because you want to make sure that this is not going to move once you glue it to the bottom of your pot. So just add some glue, push it down to the bottom. You do want to give it a little bit of pressure and just let that dry before you add in your steak. We can grab our bunny rabbit signs, and we're just going to push in that little DIY steak that we created into that foam block just until it is nice and secure. And once you do this, you do want to just kind of fill out the outside. I would recommend tissue paper for this. I did not have any tissue paper, so I did have to use paper towels, but this is just going to reinforce that block in the bottom. It's just going to make it a little bit more sturdy, and it's going to help you bulk out the bottom. That way, when you add your covering like Spanish moss, you don't have to use as much to fill out that entire bowl. If you don't have Spanish moss, you can definitely just use some tinsel for this step if you like. I think that would look really cute for Easter as well. And now I just wanted to add some decorations, so I'm going to be adding some of these pastel plastic eggs from Dollar Tree, and then I was kind of looking at the Spanish moss and it reminded me of a garden, and I did have a few extra carrots left over, so I decided just to add 3 carrots to each one, just like they are sticking out of the ground like they're growing in a garden. And here's a closer look at how this one turned out. This DIY is so fun and easy. I love that it really gives you a large impact because of how big they are, but you can have these put together in less than 10 minutes. I know that some of you guys already know the drill, but as soon as I saw these towels, I knew we had to turn them into some simple Easter no-sew pillows. They are just so cute. I loved the prints and the colors, and I just knew that they would be perfect for this DIY. So to get started, you want to take off the tags and just open up your towels. Now, I have tried to iron these ones in the past, and it didn't work out too well, so I will say that if you want to get those lines out, just use a small steamer. I find that it does work a lot better. So now that we have our towel just folded in half, I noticed that the Easter Wishes one had this white outline that didn't go all the way around, so I am going to go ahead and just trim that one down, and the other one I am going to leave the full size. Like I did mention before, I will be doing a no-sew pillow method today, which means we will just be using our hot glue, but if you prefer, you can absolutely sew these by hand or with a sewing machine. Now, I did want to just go ahead and cut these right in half. All the edges and the seams will look the same. And I will be gluing these inside out. That way you do see the hidden seam, and then we will be flipping them right side out at the end. So for my first one here, I'm just going to be lining it up. And then once I had it lined up, I just added 1 line of hot glue. You do want to work in sections when you are doing the glue too. It just makes it a little bit easier, and that way you can work in smaller sections so the glue doesn't harden up on you as you are attaching the sides. And now I'm going to go ahead and just attach all 4 sides, but on the bottom I will be leaving about a 4-inch gap. That way we can just turn it right side out and we are able to fill it with some Poly-Fil. Waiting for my first one to completely dry before I turn it right side out, I'm just going to repeat all of those same steps on my second smaller pillow. Now we can go ahead, flip these where we can see the pattern, and then we're going to start to fill them with some Poly-Fil. And once the pillow is nice and full, I'm just going to fold in those edges and then use some more hot glue just to close up that opening. And of course, I'm just going to repeat those same steps with my second pillow. Here's how these no-sew Easter pillows turned out. I think they are just so fun to put together, and they definitely add a lot of festive cheer to my living room. And that is everything for today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed these easy and quick Dollar Tree Easter DIYs. If you did, please do give this video a big thumbs up. If you're not yet subscribed, I would love to have you join us by subscribing down below. And I wanted to wish everyone a very happy Easter. Thank you so much for watching. To subscribe to my channel, you can just click on this picture right here.